we're going to go with the AFC South, and we're going to go and start off with the bottom 14th seed. Just spoiler alert, I have 14th seed, 12th seed, and 11th seed for 3 out of the 4 teams here.
All right, I got 16, 14, and 11.
I have Jacksonville landing at the bottom 13 and 4, 3 and 14 is where I have them going.
I do too have Jacksonville 3 and 14, but I have them second.
And you have Tennessee
I have them
at
third
the bottom,
in the division. I do have Tennessee at the bottom at 2 and 15.
Yeah, I have Jacksonville picking up. Let's see, where do I have Tennessee winning these games? Tennessee against Arizona, Tennessee against Indianapolis, and Tennessee.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you a secret, even though this is going to be put on the internet? For the Tennessee Titans.
Okay.
I did a lot of work thinking we were going to be to our regular scheduled podcast events this draft. And I felt like Shedeur was the number 1 quarterback in this class. And I know you didn't, and that's fine. And I'm not banging.
No, whoa, hold on. No, yes, I did. I thought Shedeur was number 1.
Oh, you had him at number 1 too?
Yes, I had. Yeah, Shedeur comfortably at number 1.
And yes. I think that a lot of people don't understand that he slid because of his dad and a couple other things. And I think if you watch his reaction when he was drafted in the 5th round, how he celebrated the shit out of that and ran all over the place. I think that video right there shows you exactly what type of player you're getting in Shedeur Sanders. I think Cam Ward will be good, but he is not doing anything special for this Titans team this year, in my opinion. And I think we'll look back on this in a couple years and laugh that the Browns stole that kid in the 5th round.
I'm right there with you. I've argued with way too many people that I shouldn't have argued with because it's a waste of time to argue with anyone about Shedeur Sanders because it's and that's all I hear out of anyone because there's no actual substance coming out of their mouth when you actually sit there and be like, and I can go and pull up my phone and be like, well, actually, man, so like, here's what I have on Shedeur Sanders, and I can sit there and read my notes and what I have graded on him specifically, and it does not matter to people. I could sit here and be like, yeah, I grade on their feet, their hips, their leadership, their touch, the it factor, accuracy on short, long ball, rushing upside, ball handling, plus another 7 other things, plus a giant thing of notes that I have on my phone, and people don't care because Sanders. I don't care.
I watched every Colorado game last year live, following the team as a fan. And then when I was trying to figure out what I was going to put together on Travis Hunter, I went back to look at how many of these throws did Travis Hunter just bail Shedeur out? Like, how good did Travis Hunter make Shedeur look? And I came to the conclusion that Shedeur made Travis Hunter look really good just as often with ball placement and putting the ball in the right place to let him run. And just
anticipation was great.
Some of this shit that I see that makes me a big believer in my own personal quarterback, the throws on time and putting it where the player is going to be, just elite level. I said this a long time ago with you. It's like, just, man, he's got elite level processing, in my opinion. He's an elite level processor. And I just think that is going to take him to the next level successfully. Now, he's in one of the most piss poor organizations in the history of sports. So I don't know how it's going to shake out for them. And it's not like he's got a mentor out there that he can listen to. You know, hopefully he just does everything opposite of what that guy tells him to do. Don't go to any massage parlors, please. But
I know a guy.
Besides that, I just, not to hijack this to a different division, but I got the Titans going 2 and 15, 16th in the conference, and the Jaguars 3 and 14.
Yeah, I think that when you look at you look at Jacksonville, and that's kind of sad because I hope that they do better than this, just for the fact of I want Trevor Lawrence to be better than where it's kind of shaken out to this point. Brian Thomas is extremely talented. Travis Hunter is probably one of the most likable prospects that's the high drafted prospects come out in the last decade. I really enjoy him and his personality and the type of person he is and his play on the field. By the way, he's a better corner than he is wide receiver for everyone out there. So I hope that he does get to play both sides of the ball. And you look at the other guys that are on this team, it's not an awful team. It's just the team is not coming together and not playing to the level it should be. they have a lot of names, and those names are not performing, and it sucks because I wish they would, just for the sake of Trevor Lawrence, the hype that kind of got thrown around him. It's the same thing with I want Caleb to succeed, and the hype that's around him and the talent that was coming out. I did more work on Caleb than I ever did Trevor. Trevor was the first real quarterback class that I even looked at, in class I looked at even just minutely. After that, it was a lot more detailed and film oriented, but I want him to be talented, and I want them to be good. Just 3-14 for me. And when it comes to Tennessee, it's just, I think it's a lot of the same stuff. There's names on this roster and on this team with a coach that I do think can be talented with his second year coming in. I don't know if they're all going to come together, especially with how the schedule shakes out. You play the AFC North, which isn't going to be super duper exciting to play against, with Cincinnati and playing against the Chargers and the Broncos. And that's not a fun division to play. And you're the worst division in football. So it sucks. I think there's a lot of names on the team, a lot of talent on both teams. It's just not going to shake out the way that I think fans hope it's going to shake out. 3-14 for Jacksonville, 4-13. One more win than Jacksonville for them. So 14th seed and 12th seed.
I really, really, really like Travis Hunter. I argued all year against everybody that he was the Heisman. I know everybody else wanted to argue Genty. I hope he gets everything he wants, but unless he's the smartest, unless he's like Stanford level smart, trying to go into these meeting rooms at both positions and log all those snaps, I hope they let him do it the first year, because they're not going to be really doing anything else anyway, so they might as well have some excitement. But I really hope they narrow him down to one position, whatever he chooses to be. If I had to guess, he'll go wide receiver, because that's who makes the big bucks in the league. But I hope he doesn't get injured by logging all those snaps. And ultimately, the Jacksonville Jaguars, we might as well call them, the Arizona Cardinals of the AFC. They got the super high price quarterback. They got all these other pieces that you think would, they got that number one wide receiver that was a rookie last year. Yep. But ultimately, it's just, everything. There's kind of like a, not to hijack it to wrestling, but it's just like kind of like the WWE versus the AEW comparison, because Shad owns AEW also. It's just the second rate organization. Like, the Jaguars just feel like a second rate organization in the NFL. Yeah. Like, it just doesn't seem like they're taken seriously. And ultimately, they kind of got screwed the year they had the number one pick. That was the COVID draft. We got, Zach Wilson and Mac Jones and don't fucking say his name, Justin Fields. And it wasn't. And the think about it, man, like Trey's never got an opportunity, man. He just was not even polished enough to get an opportunity to play. Like, he was not even good enough to put him on the field to even give him a shot. At least Zach Wilson had his year, so. Yeah. Where do you got the Colts, man? Where are they shaking out for you?
5-12, the 11th seed. A lot of questions kind of surround Anthony Richardson. We've seen not a huge sample size from him because of a handful of reasons. A lot of it comes down to injury and surgeries, and the leadership thing is super, like, major red flag on a lot of what Anthony Richardson has going for him. But overall, the team is not awful. A lot of names, a lot of talent, but just, again, the schedule just does not shake well for them. Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. The Colts line isn't the best, in my opinion. A couple of guys that can step up and make some strides this next year, but nothing crazy. You draft Tyler Warren, another weapon for Anthony Richardson. Jonathan Taylor, obviously, we know all about him and how good he is. Then the defense side of the ball, Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner, Leatu Latu, obviously our guy. Zaire Franklin, Jalen Jones, like there's Nick Cross, Cam Bynum they brought in, Javarius Ward they brought in, Kenny Moore they had. Like, it's a talented team. I just don't think it's going to shake well. Just a lot comes down to the schedule of this one and the quarterback play. You swap quarterbacks with a lot of these different teams. This team wins 9 games because I think I'm just not all there with Anthony Richardson at all.
Yeah, I got them going 6-11, so we're kind of right in lockstep there. It's a talented team, man. It's Jonathan Taylor and the defense and all this other stuff. And I actually don't hate Daniel Jones at the backup position for them because this is the most talented team that Daniel Jones has ever played on. If you take away
Yep.
his cup of coffee with the Vikings last year, you and me have argued about Anthony Richardson on this podcast. We know I'm an Anthony Richardson guy, but I have a high level of respect for DeForest Buckner. And when DeForest Buckner's gone on record questioning this dude's work ethic and how hard he
Yeah.
works and how bad he wants it. And I defended Anthony Richardson his rookie year. I'm like, dude, your team sucks. There's no reason to put your body on the line like this and get hurt. Just get the surgery and get out of there. But
Yeah.
and we've seen him make some incredible throws. So I know the talent is there. But ultimately, if he's gonna Jamarcus Russell this thing and he's not gonna put the time in to study the tape and everything, he's gonna be, he's not gonna make it. And we're gonna see Daniel Jones take over that team by week 5 or 6. And ultimately for him, I root for everybody to succeed except for the Cowboys. And ultimately I hope it works out for him. But the schedule is so tough for them this year, and I have them at 6-11. I'm excited on this next one because I think I'm a little more bullish on your boys than you are. So that's always good.
Sitting at the 4th seed overall, first seed in this division, the 10-7 Houston Texans.
Damn.
We're that far off, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So here's my thought process. There's a lot of questions still with this offensive line, and that was the number one thing last year. I know you get rid of Laramie Tunsil, and it came down to, in huge air quotes, he was not the leader of the offensive line that we wanted him to be, even though you look at his grades and you look what he produced. It was good. He was solid. You bring in Cam Robinson to replace him. You also draft Ariante Irsay in the 2nd round, which he was a close to first-round talent. Being drafted in the 2nd is good value. But I'm not so sure about the rest of it. Titus Howard at the guard position. Lincoln Tomlinson is backing him up. Maybe he's going to kind of fit in at the other guard position. Because right now you have Juice Scruggs starting at guard. That has to be a computer-generated name there. That's Madden-generated draft class guy right there.
Well, I know
Ingram,
you're not happy unless a team goes out and spends $35 million on the guard in the offseason.
You have to. Exactly. It's just, I do like Blake Fisher. I liked him coming out of the draft. Him playing right tackle, I think, is actually going to be pretty good. I'm really excited to see what he can do in the league because I was really high on him at tackle. I'm just not so sure about the rest of the offensive line, especially the interior. Obviously, I like Dalton Schultz. I like Christian Kirk. I like Nico Collins as a dog. He's the number one for sure. Joe Mixon is great. And
Keep
we
going.
know what the
There's another wide receiver out there. Say his name.
There's no other wide receivers out there.
Yeah, there is.
No, there's not. What are you talking about?
That my man, he injured his knee in the championship game. Say his name.
Unfortunately, he's not going to play this next year. Tank Dell.
No, I'm talking about John Mechie, bro. Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, nah, that's fine.
Yeah,
he's fine.
Tank. That sucks for Tank. I don't think personally. Here's what it comes down to, and I will give you my prediction of the Texans winning 14 games this year. I don't think that the offensive line was really that big of a problem until Nico Collins got hurt. Stephon Diggs got hurt. I think they were fine until their playmakers got hurt. And then all of a sudden he's got nobody that's getting separation. He's got nobody that's getting open. So the offensive line looks terrible. But if Schultz is healthy, if Mixon is doing his thing, backup running back out there, Mr. Pierce is doing, the bullish thing he does, and the wide receivers are stepping up, the offensive line isn't as big of a question mark in my mind as it was last year when everybody was on the injured list for them. Sure. So assuming a fully healthy year for them, I mean, that's a big swing. You got them at 10. I got them at 14. But I would challenge you a little bit to say that you've been so high on the Texans this year that you might have dialed them back a little bit just to not do that again.
There's definitely part of it. And I don't think my losses on them is that really crazy. Against the Rams in week 1, losing against Baltimore in week 5, losing against Denver in week 9, losing against Buffalo in week 12, Kansas City in week 14, LA in week 17, the Chargers, the other LA team, and then the Colts in week 18. That's more of like everyone rests their starters because they're going to make the playoffs because the division's horrible and they're coming in healthy. That's the thought process there. The Colts pick up a win just to pick up a win.
Yeah, I got them beating the Colts. I got them beating the Rams in week 1, and I have them taking that game against the Broncos. So there's the difference in our schedule there.
Sure. And my thought process is just the defense and the pass rush that Denver can pressure that offensive line with can end up disrupting a lot of the team. So that's my thought process there to give Denver the win. I originally gave that to the Broncos, or sorry, to Houston. I swapped it to Denver in the middle of it.
When you sent me that text the other day asking if you were on crack about the Broncos, I almost just texted you back. I'm like, yeah, you're an idiot. But then I looked at the schedule and I started thinking about it, and I started finding all these wins, and I was like, oh, holy smoke. So if they go out and beat the Texans, I won't be surprised, but
Right.
I'm bullish on CJ Stroud in year 3.
Absolutely.